Hello, my name is Luke. I'm an application engineer here at Team MI. Today we're just going to go through a quick start guide for setting up a Kollmorgen Essentials demo setup. So let's just go through all the pieces we need to get this set up here. I've got the motor. This is just a 400 watt motor I've got here. I've got the power feedback cable. We've got the drive obviously right here. In addition, I'm going to need some way to feed, AC power in. So I've just got a cord, AC power cord here. And then I also need a 24-volt auxiliary supply. In addition, I've got some extra wire here to jumper the STO connections. And then as far as tools to finish the setup, I've got some wire strippers. I've got a small flathead, and then I've got a Torx T20 for the cable clip to help hold the cable onto the drive. And then lastly, I have a USB-C data cable for connecting the drive to my laptop so we can connect to Kollmorgen's Workbench software to set up some demo moves. First, we're going to install the cable clip. So just got my T20 here. All right, once that's installed, I'm next going to install the AC power connections. So I just got single phase 120 here. So I'm going to install ground to PE. I'm going to install live to L1 and then neutral to L2. I'm just going to plug that in there. Next, I am going to install my power and feedback cable to the drive. So we've got this connector here, which plugs into X1 here on the front here. And then we've got X23 right here, which just plugs in down here. I'll probably go and add a zip tie to this in a bit as well to hold that in. Next, we'll connect our motor to this side. Clips in, and then clockwise to lock. All right. Next, I'm going to install my 24-volt power connections for my power supply. Here we can see it's nice, they're clearly labeled. We've got our negative at the top left here. Positive right down below that. Okay, and then lastly, we're going to add the jumper connections for our STO, since we're not going to put an e-stop on this demo. So what I'm going to do is cut some wire, and I've actually already done this, but I've cut 3 pieces of short pieces of wire. We're going to jumper the last 2 pins on the left side of this connector and the bottom right pin right here. More look at the camera here. So I've got my power in up here, and then I've got these 3 all jumpered. The USB-C cable plugs in right up at the top here on X20 service port. From here, we're ready to power on and connect the USB-C cable to the computer. Okay, so here we are over on the laptop. I've got my drive plugged in via USB. The default name is no name. Port, we can see it connected COM17. In this quick start menu, if we don't see a network device to connect to, it's likely that we're using a power only USB cable, or that our COM port needs to be reassigned. But here I'm just going to go in and connect. All right, and so right now we're in the Express setup, so we're just going to run through these settings real quick. Right now you can see I have a warning. We'll get to why that's popping up here in just a second. So here at the top, we have some different communication protocols. We can change to Profinet or Ethernet IP. Right now I'm just going to accept this default EtherCAT. Down here, we can blink the device if we need to figure out which drive we have connected, if we have multiple, or we can reset it to default. In the general, we can rename it. So I'll just rename this demo 1 and accept. And the power input, this is why we're getting that error. Right now, we are selected to a preset of 240 volt single phase. So I'm going to change this to 120 volt single phase here in the menu settings. And here we can see now our bus voltage is in the green section over here. There's some other things we can look at as well. We can look at the feedback. So here, if I just take my hand and manually rotate the shaft, you can see the feedback device moving the dial here. Units, let's change these to some better units that are more easy to understand. So let's change this to degrees. RPM is fine, and then RPM per second for that. And we'll do confirm configuration there. Disable mode, I'm just going to change this to disable access immediately. Control stop, I'm gonna accept all the default values here as well. And then here we can see our STO lines, so we can enable our access. And then here we can just start the quick tune on the next one. This will just take a few seconds, doesn't take super long. Here, because we don't have a load, we could adjust this up to be a lot stiffer. So here I'll adjust this up to, a bandwidth at 200. So then here we can jog the motor. We'll have to switch it to service velocity mode from torque mode. So, and then from here we can use these arrows and move the motor back and forth at 30 RPM if we want to. Here we're going to go in and save to the device. All right, so now what we're going to do is we're going to switch the full setup, and we're going to go down to Axis 1 underneath this tree over here on the left side, and then we're going to go down to Motion Tasks. So what I'm going to do here is I'm actually going to put our drive into position mode, and then in here, a motion task 0, what we can do is we can set up a absolute move of, say, we want to rotate like 2 revolutions one way, so we can do 720 degrees, and then we can rotate at, say, 100 RPM. And then the following task, we'll set the next following task, we can set it to be itself if we want it to run continuously, or we could set it to be motion task 1 in this case. So motion task 1, we'll set it to go, let's say we want to go minus 900 degrees, the opposite direction. We'll say we want this to go at different speed. Let's do 150 RPM. And then we'll set the following task ID to be 0. All right. Now that that's all set up, we need to go in and make sure that our access is home. So over here at the top, you can see our access is not home. So we'll go over to the tree on the left side under settings and we'll go to home. And there's a bunch of different ways we can find home. Right now we'll just use the current position. So we'll just say click start here and call this current position our home position. And we'll go back to motion tasks and we will hit play. So we can see the motor rotates about 2 revolutions in one direction, a little over 2 revolutions in the opposite direction, then switches back and forth. Thanks for watching.